Hello, this is Music Tech Help Guy, and welcome to episode 22 of my Pro Tools 11 video tutorial series. In this episode, we're going to take a look at elastic pitch. It's one of the features of elastic audio. Now, in the previous episodes, we've talked about stretching time, mostly using the rhythmic, polyphonic, and monophonic modes, where you can stretch and compress audio without affecting pitch. And then the previous episode, we talked about varispeed, where you can stretch and compress time, but also affect pitch, sort of like a turntable playback speed effect. In this episode, we're going to talk about pitch shifting clips without affecting their timing. Now, you can actually use elastic pitch with both the polyphonic mode and the rhythmic mode, but you can't use it with the monophonic mode. So for all of these clips, which are basically bass and guitar, we're going to use polyphonic for. There's also another elastic mode that we're going to introduce in this video called X-Form, which allows you to do extremely high quality pitch shifting to the point where you almost can't hear you can't tell that it's been pitch shifted. So we're going to start with polyphonic and we're going to work our way up to X-Form. So what I've got here is a full session with drums. Everything in blue is drums. And we have DI bass, 2 amped guitars, and a guitar solo at the end. The problem is that we tracked this whole session. Everything sounds good. It needs to be mixed and edited, but the session sounds good. The problem is that we later found out that the key that we recorded it in, which is D minor, is too high for the singer to sing in. He just sounds like he's stretching his voice beyond what his normal range would be. So what I want to do is I want to pitch shift all of these tracks down so that he can sing the song in the key that we're eventually going to release it in. So let me play a little bit of the song right now. We're not going to really be doing anything with the drums, just with the guitars here. So this is just a little bit of the verse. There's a little bit of the chorus. And here's a little bit of this sort of post-chorus riff. So it sounds good. The problem is, again, it's in the wrong key. We're in D minor. So what we're going to do is we're going to shift all of the tonal tracks, the bass, the guitars, and the guitar solo, down 2 half steps, down 2 semitones, down to the key of C minor. So we go from D down to C sharp, down to C. Now, sort of the quick and dirty way to do this is to turn on the polyphonic setting and right-click on the clip and go to Elastic Properties. And then from the Elastic Properties window, go down to Pitch Shift and then type in or drag down -2 semitones. It's going to pitch shift the clip down 2 half steps. Now you can also pitch shift in cents, which is a smaller unit. Basically, there's 12 semitones in an octave, and there are 100 cents per semitone. So making cent adjustments is making very sort of fine-tuning adjustments. So again, the original sounded like this. Let me get that window back up. The original sounded like this. By the way, this is just the bass by itself. With our pitch shift, it sounds like this. So that whole clip is now going to be down 2 half steps. Let's go to our first guitar here. I'm just going to turn this imager off. This is what's actually making this be panned over to the left. So here's the original. And after we add the pitch shift to it, it sounds like this. So I'm going to do that same thing to the second guitar. And then we're going to do the same thing to the guitar solo. And you can actually use the pitch shift function with rhythmic and polyphonic, but it doesn't work with monophonic. It only works with polyphonic and with rhythmic, and also another one that we're going to learn later. I don't know if I said this already, but X-Form, which is a super high quality pitch shifting algorithm. So I'm going to avoid monophonic because we can't create pitch adjustments. All right, so let's just see what just the guitars, bass, and the solo sound like now with our pitch shift down two half steps. Now, it doesn't sound terrible. That would be good enough, maybe just cutting a demo, and then maybe we could come back in and we could re-record all these guitar parts in the correct key. Maybe I could detune the guitar and re-record it all. The problem is, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a noticeable loss in sort of the brightness and the fullness of the tone. It sounds sort of muddy and sludgy and underwater. If I get rid of these plugins, it's going to ask me, do you want to commit or revert? We're going to revert on all of these. If you get rid of these elastic plugins, you're going to hear that the original was much brighter, much fuller, although it was in a higher key. It's almost like we've lost some of the upper level overtones, or the overtones have been shifted down to half steps, so we've sort of lost some of the fullness in the high end. So instead of using polyphonic, I'm going to try the X-Form algorithm. Now, I'm just going to sort of cut out a small chunk of this for now, and I'll explain why later. But I'm just going to work with just these small clips for right now. So let me go ahead on the bass. Let's turn on X-Form. Now, X-Form is different than the other four elastic algorithms in that it can only work in rendered processing mode. It can't work in real-time processing like these do, because it takes too long for the computer to process the pitch shift with the X-Form algorithm, so it can't play it back in real time. So as a result, it takes longer for X-Form to process the audio when you change it. So I'm going to choose X-Form on all three of these. I'm not going to bother with the solo right now. And we can right-click. Again, I'm going to play the original, just one of these guitars for you. I'm going to right-click. Again, go to Elastic Properties. Type in -2. What's going to happen is the clip is going to go gray. What's happening here is Pro Tools is processing that clip, and it's rendering a new clip in the audio bin that we can listen to. This is the only way X-Form will work, because it eats up too much processing power to do it in real time. So this is the result. It's better than polyphonic was, but it still sounds a little bit dull, almost like, again, we've lost some of the upper overtones. If you click directly on the X-Form plugin, you'll see this Formant In button, or Formant Enable. What this does, and again, it's going to have to reprocess it again. What this does, it actually preserves the upper level overtones from the original recording a little bit better than it would had you not turned it on. And that's part of the problem. It's like we're losing some of the high end because the upper level overtones have been shifted down. You can also choose a quality setting here. I recommend using maximum. You can sort of test things with low and then bump it up to maximum. So listen to this. Listen to the before and after. So this is the before. Sort of dull and lifeless and underwater. If we turn the Formant Enable option on, we can't even tell anymore that it's a pitch shifted recording. It's maintained its upper level overtones and maintain the quality of the original recording, just shifted down 2 half steps. So I'm going to right click. We're going to do the same thing for the right guitar. We're going to go down 2 semitones, do the same thing for the bass. We're going to go down 2 semitones, and then on both the bass and the second guitar, we are going to turn the formant in or formant enable option on. And again, we're going to have to wait just a second for this to render in place, and then I'll play it. I'll play these three together, and then I'll play it with the drums. And by the way, this is the reason why I cut this little clip out, because we'd be waiting a long time for these to process if I hadn't. So here's these three alone with X-Form. And you can hear it when it goes back to the old key on these other clips. There's really hardly any noticeable difference in quality. Like, this could actually be kept. We can actually salvage these recordings just in a lower key now, and actually instead of having to go back and re-record them. So let's just play this with the drums real quick just to see what it sounds like. So I can't even tell that wasn't the original signal captured off the amp with 2 mics. It sounds like this was the recording that we made, and it sounds like I can't even hear any artifacts from the pitch shift, hardly any at all. So it's totally usable. Now here's the downside of X-Form. I want to do this whole song. I just did a tiny little clip of it. If we right click and we again go to our elastic properties and type in -2 for each one of these, it is going to take a long time for this to process all of this audio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to process all of this. I'm going to do it on the guitar solo as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to off screen this. I'm going to wait. It's 6:07 right now. I'm going to wait, or 6:08, just turned 6:08. I'm going to wait, and I'm going to cut the video, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to show you how long it takes to process just basically 3 full guitar tracks, and a short guitar solo on a 4-minute song. It's going to take a while. So I'll be right back. All right, we're back, and all the processing is done in all these clips. It's 6:21 right now, although the processing was done at about 6:18, 6:19, so it took roughly 10, 11 minutes to get all that done. And you know, it takes a long time for it to process everything, but really, I mean, in the end, to get the best sound possible out of a pitch shift like this, and to not have to go back into the studio and re-record the song, obviously that's the best thing to do. If you have the time, money to do that, great, go back and re-record the song. In this case, I just need the song to sound good for the singer and have it be in the right key. So when he sings it, he's not going to be trying to sing in a key that's too high for him. But yeah, I mean, that's not too bad. I mean, getting the best quality result without having to go back and retrack the song is definitely a plus. So let me just play a little bit of the song. I'll play the same spots, the verse, the bridge, and the chorus, and then the post-chorus riff. Here's the chorus. I kind of like how the low note sounds a little bit fuller and deeper now that we're in C. Then here's the ending riff. And then let's see how the guitar solo turned out. Yeah, so not too bad. I could definitely use this if I wanted to. Maybe I may have to mix the guitar tracks a little bit differently now in terms of EQ, but This is definitely salvageable now. I don't necessarily have to go back and re-record all this. I probably will anyway, just to to have everything be as high quality as possible. But I don't have to if I don't want to. And then lastly, as you guys already know, if you remove the plugin, it'll ask you, do you want to commit or revert? If you hit commit, it's going to basically render all of those all that elastic audio in place. So it's always so it'll be there as a new file rather than being rather than running the X-Form plugin all the time. In the next video, we'll continue to talk about elastic pitch and working with elastic pitch and vocals. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.